Welcome to Hungarian Horizon, a podcast about Hungary, its people, and their stories. My name is Balázs Frei.
And I'm Bálint.
Here with us today is Liz Madaras, co-founder and CEO of Polyloop, a company whose unique bacterial cocktail can break down various non-biodegradable plastics within weeks. This truly groundbreaking innovation has garnered attention from the world over for its potential to reduce plastic waste. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Liz, you and your partner Kristina Levi invented this method yourselves. What led you to this idea?
I think by now everyone kind of figured out that we have to do something to save our planet. And we put our heads together and we tried to find what we can do using our knowledge and our university degrees to put something down on the table which can actually have an impact.
And how did the process of developing the bacterial cocktail begin?
Scientific discoveries are always very, very interesting, because when you set this path before you never know what's going to come up precisely. We did hope to have great results, but we didn't know when we're going to have these results. We just really believed in our project, and we had a very solid research plan, and we followed it. And then when it didn't work, we iterated, we tried something new, and then we set out to actually solve this issue.
And how did you come up with the name Polyloop?
Polymer and loop, because we're looping plastics back into nature.
It's a very, very creative name.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's so catchy.
It's
like
incredibly
Polyloop.
And you were doing this research while you were also doing your PhD at university?
Yes, we met when we were doing our master's degree in pharmaceutical engineering, and the entire company idea came from us discussing what are we going to do after we finished. And we realized that we want to try to build something on our own, and that plus the fact that we really wanted to have something impactful led us down to Polyloop.
And then tell us, how exactly does your technology work?
You can imagine it as composting, or the same way a fallen leaf disappears. Something eats it. A microbial community uses it as food. And for our microbial community, the food is plastics.
And what is the byproduct of this process?
Currently, we hypothesize that the byproduct can be used as a soil conditioner, because it still has all the nutrients that the bacteria used, and it still has all the carbon that was in the plastic, but now it's transformed into something which is biologically available and safe.
How much time does this process take?
It really depends on what type of plastic we're processing. For single-use plastics, it's from 4 to 8 weeks.
And what kinds of plastics does it work on?
We're constantly expanding the scope of plastics degradable, but the most important ones, single-use plastics, are already in our scope.
That's truly incredible.
And what happens at the end of the process? So how do you get rid of the bacteria?
Well, the bacteria die after they stop receiving food, and you don't necessarily have to get rid of them. It really mimics nature and how nature deals with its recyclables, like fallen leaves and banana peels and apples and whatnot.
And are there any safety concerns whatsoever when it comes to this process?
We did test for approximately 216 potential contaminants through a third-party laboratory. They found that all legislated limits, which can be considered toxic to the environment, are well below the acceptable limits. So we're very hopeful that with these types of plastics, even on an industrial level, the end product will be safe to use.
And what do you need for this process to be viable at a commercial level?
Very good engineers. Even though the process itself is analogous to composting, mm-hmm. It's still a new novel technology. We have to find the right equipment, the right machinery, the right screws and bolts, and just to make sure that maybe something in an already existing machine is made out of plastic, and in our case we have to find a new type of material. So we're really focusing on building this environment to recreate what we've already tested out in a laboratory setting on a more industrial scale. And for this we need the good engineers who know that instead of plastic I can use, I don't know, XYZ or stainless steel, and they can design the degradation facility or machine depending on the size in a way which is cost effective as well.
And when do you think it might become commercially viable?
We're currently working on making this happen. By the end of the year, I can probably tell you more.
And do you have any major partners as of yet?
We are in contact with some big corporations, but I cannot divulge the names of these entities.
Sure.
At this point.
Do you know of any other companies which have a similar process to yours that work similarly or similarly effective, similarly quick? Is there anyone else out there?
For biotechnological means of plastics degradation, there's no company that we know of that is exactly like ours. Maybe some secret lab somewhere, but
could be
nothing official.
Area 51. Definitely something going on there. No. And how can we expect Polyloop to develop over the next 5 years or so?
In the next 5 years, we want to nail down the industrial process. That's for sure. That's our major focus right now, and that's our primary target. Next to that, we're, of course, working on developing a lot of side projects as well to expand the scope of plastics, to have new technologies under our umbrella, to have 2 more patents at least. And we're also looking towards expanding internationally because this is a global issue and it needs a global solution.
And when do you think such practices for decomposing plastic waste might become normalized?
That is an excellent question. It depends on a lot of factors. It depends on when can we have the technology ready to go. It depends on the legal framework. It depends on citizens, because citizens can also be a driving force in what type of waste management they wish to see in the foreseeable future. I truly hope that within the next 2 years we can at least start testing live in industrial settings, say try to solve the plastic problem of a city or a community.
The current management of plastic pollution is clearly failing, as around 8 million metric tons enter the ocean annually. Do you think your solution may eventually be able to manage the problem at a global level?
Yes, because our solution can be implemented where the plastic waste is being produced. You don't have to put it on a container and ship it to the other part of the world. Our facilities can be built close to where we're actually producing waste. And one of our main goals is actually to stop plastic from getting into the oceans and getting into our forests and then getting into our bodies even. And for this, we will definitely need to really find good partners who can implement this in the target countries.
Thank you very much for being here with us.
Sure.
You gave great answers to all of our questions. It was really nice having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon.